In the quiet hours of the night when the world grows still and the mind begins to wander, imagine drifting backward in time carried gently across wide open plains and endless skies to a land that feels both distant and strangely peaceful. This is the Wild West, not the loud and violent place of gunshots and duels, but the slower, quieter reality that most people live through. A place where survival depended less on speed and strength, and more on patience, awareness, and knowing when to rest. The sun rises slowly over the prairie, spreading soft golden light across tall grasses that sway gently in the morning breeze. A lone traveler wakes beside a small, carefully tended campfire. The fire is low now, just warm embers glowing faintly, because conserving wood is essential. In the Wild West, survival begins with understanding that nothing should be wasted. Every resource, no matter how small, matters. The traveler moves slowly, stretching stiff muscles, breathing in the cool air that smells of earth and distant sage. Mornings are calm here, and the calm is important. Rushing leads to mistakes, and mistakes can be costly. Before moving on, the traveler checks supplies. A canteen with a modest amount of water, a cloth sack holding dried beans and hard bread, a simple knife, a hat worn thin by the sun, and sturdy boots marked by many miles of dust. Water is life in the Wild West. It shapes every decision. Travelers learn to read the land, noticing where green plants gather, where animals leave tracks, and where the ground dips gently, suggesting a hidden stream nearby. Water is never gulped greedily. Instead, it is sipped slowly, respectfully, as if thanking the land for its generosity. As the traveler walks, the vastness of the landscape becomes soothing rather than intimidating. The sky stretches endlessly overhead, clouds drifting lazily like slow thoughts passing through a sleepy mind. Survival here means learning to walk with the land, not against it. Footsteps are measured. The rhythm of movement becomes almost meditative. The heat of the day gradually builds, but protection comes from simple knowledge. A wide-brimmed hat shields the face. Long sleeves protect the skin from the sun rather than exposing it. People of the Wild West understood that covering the body could keep it cooler, trapping a layer of air that softened the sun's harshness. By midday, the traveler pauses beneath the shade of a lone cottonwood tree near a shallow creek. This is not laziness. It is wisdom. Traveling during the hottest hours drains energy and water. Instead, the traveler rests, listening to the quiet sounds of insects, the soft rustle of leaves, and the distant call of a bird. Food in the Wild West is simple, and simplicity brings comfort. Dried meat, beans soaked overnight, and bread hardened but softened by patience. Cooking is slow and deliberate. A small fire is built carefully, shielded from the wind. Flames are kept low to avoid drawing attention or wasting fuel. As the food warms, the smell is gentle, familiar, reassuring. Survival also means understanding animals not as enemies, but as neighbors. Snakes are avoided by watching where one steps. Horses are treated with kindness and care, because a good horse is more than transport. It is a companion and a lifeline. At night, food is stored away from sleeping areas to avoid attracting curious creatures. As the afternoon fades into evening, the land cools again. Shadows stretch long across the ground, and the sky begins its slow transformation into deep blues and purples. This is the safest time to move again, when the air is lighter and the world feels calm. The traveler sets up camp as dusk approaches, choosing a spot that offers protection from wind and a clear view of the surroundings. Camps are never made in low areas where cold air settles, nor too close to water where insects gather. The ground is cleared gently, stones moved aside, and a bedroll laid out with care. Firelight flickers softly, not roaring, just enough to provide warmth and comfort. Stories in the Wild West are often told to oneself, quiet reminders of lessons learned. Never travel alone if it can be helped. Always let someone know where you are going. Trust actions more than words. And most importantly, listen to the land, to the animals, to the subtle signs that guide survival. Night deepens and the stars emerge one by one, bright and steady. Without city lights, the sky feels endless, a blanket of quiet reassurance. Travelers often navigate by these stars, memorizing patterns that slowly drift across the heavens. The stars become companions, offering direction and comfort. Sleep in the Wild West is light but peaceful. One ear remains aware, but fear is replaced by familiarity. The traveler wraps in a blanket, feeling the gentle rise and fall of breath, the steady pulse of life continuing another day. Days pass like this, each one blending gently into the next. Survival becomes routine, and routine brings calm. The traveler learns to recognize distant storms by the smell of rain on dust, to sense changing weather by the way birds behave, to read the wind as it shifts across the plains. In time, survival takes a different form. Wooden buildings creak softly in the heat. Life moves slowly. People greet one another with nods rather than words. Trust is built over time, not demanded. Supplies are traded, not hoarded. A warm meal at a shared table feels like a small miracle. The Wild West is not constant danger, it is constant awareness. It teaches patience, humility, and respect for nature's rhythm. Those who survive are not the strongest, but the most attentive. They know when to stop, when to wait, and when to move forward quietly. As the traveler continues their journey, the land seems less wild and more welcoming. Every trail tells a story. Every sunset offers rest. Every sunrise brings another gentle chance to continue. And as the mind grows heavy and thoughts slow, the quiet wisdom of the Wild West lingers softly, like a steady heartbeat beneath the stars. The fire fades. The wind whispers. Sleep comes naturally, carried on the calm understanding that survival, at its core, is simply learning how to live gently within the world. The plains breathe, the night holds you, and the journey continues peacefully, endlessly, into sleep. The night stretches on without urgency, and the land settles into its deepest quiet. Somewhere far off, a coyote calls, not sharp or frightening, but long and wandering, like a question that doesn't need an answer. The traveler remains still, wrapped in the familiar comfort of the blanket, breathing slowly, letting the sound fade into the vastness of the dark. In the Wild West, nights teach an important lesson. Stillness is not weakness. It is strength conserved. The body rests, repairs, and prepares, while the mind drifts gently between waking and dreams. The fire has burned itself down to a circle of warm ash, its heat lingering just enough to keep the cold away. Stars continue their slow journey overhead, unhurried, dependable. As sleep deepens, memory and imagination begin to blend. The traveler recalls old advice passed quietly from one soul to another, words spoken without drama. Always respect the weather because it does not respect stubbornness. Clouds gathering on the horizon are not a challenge to overcome, but a message to listen to. When storms come, the wise find shelter and wait. Morning arrives without announcement, soft and pale. Light spreads slowly, turning the edges of the world visible again. The traveler wakes before the sun fully clears the horizon because early hours are gentle and forgiving. Boots are pulled on, stiff but reliable. The camp is dismantled carefully, leaving almost no trace. Survival means moving through the land without scarring it. Breakfast is quiet and simple. A handful of soaked beans warmed over faint coals, water measured and saved. Nothing hurried. The body appreciates this rhythm, this unspoken agreement between effort and rest. The trail today winds through low hills, where grass grows shorter and the earth hardens underfoot. Walking here requires attention, watching for loose stones and hidden holes. The traveler's pace slows naturally, and with it, the breath becomes steady and calm. Survival is not about reaching the destination quickly. It is about arriving whole. By late morning, a distant wagon track appears, faint lines pressed into the soil, softened by time and wind. These tracks tell stories. Someone passed through here once, perhaps weeks ago, perhaps longer. They moved slowly, carefully, just like everyone else who learned the land's quiet rules. The traveler follows the tracks for a while, not because they promise safety, but because shared paths offer reassurance. As the sun climbs higher, the heat returns, but the traveler knows how to greet it. Movement slows, shade becomes valuable. A rock outcrop offers relief, its shadow cool and welcoming. Here, time seems to stretch. A lizard moves lazily across the stone. An insect hums briefly, then disappears. These small signs of life confirm what the traveler already knows. This land supports those who observe it. In the Wild West, danger often comes not from sudden threats, but from ignoring small warnings. Dry lips remind one to drink slowly. Aching feet suggest it is time to rest. Darkening clouds whisper of rain long before it falls. Survival depends on listening to these gentle signals. When afternoon begins to soften, the traveler moves again. The air changes, carrying the scent of moisture and distant earth. Somewhere ahead, a creek murmurs faintly, hidden among reeds and stones. Water is approached with gratitude and caution. The traveler kneels, refilling the canteen, washing dust from hands, letting the coolness linger just a moment longer than necessary. As evening approaches, the sky becomes wide and dramatic, painted in soft layers of gold, pink, and deepening blue. The traveler feels no rush to reach shelter because experience has taught that calm preparation invites safety. Camp is chosen with care, once more high ground, gentle cover, clear visibility. A small meal cooks slowly as twilight settles in. The smell is comforting, grounding. The land seems to exhale, releasing the day's heat back into the open sky. The traveler eats quietly, savoring each bite, knowing that nourishment is both physical and mental. Night returns, familiar and welcoming. The fire glows softly again, not demanding attention. The traveler leans back, watching sparks rise and disappear, each one a brief reminder of how fragile and precious warmth can be. In this place, survival has nothing to do with heroics. It is about balance, knowing when to walk and when to stop, when to speak and when to remain silent, when to push forward and when to let the world move around you. Sleep comes gently once more, heavier than before. The sounds of the Wild West blend into a steady lullaby, the whisper of grass, the slow breath of wind, the distant life moving unseen but unharmed. And as the traveler rests, the land continues its quiet watch. Tomorrow will come, as it always does, bringing another peaceful chance to move forward, one careful step at a time, deeper into the calm, timeless rhythm of survival. The rhythm of the night remains unbroken, steady and reassuring, like a long breath taken by the land itself. The traveler sleeps deeply now, no longer listening for every sound, because trust has grown between body and place. In the Wild West, trust is not careless. It is earned slowly, through many quiet nights that pass without harm. Hours later, before dawn fully arrives, a subtle change in the air stirs the senses. The cold softens. Somewhere far away, a bird calls once, then again, testing the morning. The traveler's eyes open gently, without alarm. Waking here is never abrupt. It is a gradual return, like floating upward through still water. The fire is gone now, only cool ash and faint warmth beneath the surface. The traveler sits up, wraps the blanket closer for a moment, and simply observes. This pause is important. It allows the mind to settle before movement begins. Survival is not only physical. It is mental calm carried from one day to the next. As light spreads across the plains, details reappear: the texture of the soil, the pale shimmer of dew on grass, the distant silhouette of low hills. The traveler stands, stretches slowly, and feels gratitude for another quiet morning. Boots meet the ground. Balance is checked. Strength is measured gently, not tested harshly. The camp disappears piece by piece, returned to the land almost as if it had never existed. Stones go back where they were. Ashes scattered thinly. Footprints are brushed away where possible. In the Wild West, leaving no trace is both courtesy and wisdom. It keeps the land healthy and the traveler unnoticed. Breakfast is small today because supplies must last. A piece of bread softened with water, a few slow sips from the canteen. Hunger is acknowledged but not feared. The body adapts, learning that moderation keeps it moving longer than indulgence ever could. The path ahead stretches wide and open, but the traveler knows not to be fooled by openness. Distance in the Wild West can be deceptive. What looks close may take hours to reach. So the traveler sets a steady pace, matching footsteps to breath, letting time unfold naturally. The sun rises higher, warming the land without cruelty. Clouds drift lazily, offering moments of shade. The traveler keeps eyes moving, not scanning anxiously, but noticing calmly. Tracks of animals crossing the path. A hawk circling high above. These signs are not threats. They are conversations, quiet exchanges between life forms sharing the same space. By midday, the traveler reaches a gentle rise and pauses at the top. From here, the view is wide and peaceful. No urgency pulls at the heart. This is a good place to rest. The traveler sits, leans back against a rock warmed by the sun, and allows stillness to return. In the Wild West, rest is survival. Muscles recover, thoughts slow. The mind empties itself of unnecessary worry. Time stretches again, becoming something soft rather than sharp. The wind brushes past like a reassuring hand. Later, movement resumes, but with even less effort than before. The traveler has learned that pushing too hard invites mistakes. The land rewards patience with endurance. Each step feels lighter now, as if the journey itself is carrying some of the weight. As afternoon fades, a small settlement appears in the distance. Not loud, not bustling, but quietly alive. A few wooden structures. A fence. A water trough for animals. The traveler approaches respectfully, without haste, hands visible, posture relaxed. Survival among people requires the same calm awareness as survival in nature. There are nods exchanged, brief greetings, unspoken understanding, a place to refill water, a chance to trade a small task for a warm meal. No long conversations are needed. In the Wild West, words are used sparingly, and silence is never uncomfortable. As evening returns once more, the traveler leaves the settlement, carrying renewed strength and quiet confidence. The sky deepens into familiar colors. The land welcomes the traveler back without question. Another camp is made, another fire lit softly. The traveler settles down, feeling the gentle ache of a day well spent. Above, the stars return to their places, steady and patient, just as they were the night before and the night before that. Sleep comes again, deeper now, smoother, carried by the understanding that survival here is not a battle. It is a partnership with the land, with time, with one's own quiet awareness. And as the world grows still once more, the journey continues without effort, drifting onward through the calm, endless night of the Wild West, where nothing rushes, nothing demands, and everything simply exists, slowly and peacefully, inviting rest. The night remains gentle, unbroken by urgency or fear. The traveler's breathing becomes slow and even, rising and falling in harmony with the quiet land. The Wild West holds this stillness carefully, as though it understands the need for deep rest after long days of steady movement. Hours pass without notice. The moon drifts across the sky, silver light touching the plains, turning grass and stone into soft shapes. The fire has faded again, leaving only a memory of warmth. The traveler does not stir. Sleep here is not shallow. It is layered and deep, built on trust earned over many nights. Eventually, the darkness begins to thin. Not suddenly, but gradually, as if the night is loosening its grip inch by inch. The first hint of dawn appears far on the horizon, a pale line that promises another quiet day. The traveler wakes naturally, without tension, without the sharp pull of alarm. For a few moments, there is only stillness, no movement, no thought, just awareness. This pause is one of the most important survival habits in the Wild West. It allows the mind to wake gently, to observe before acting. The traveler listens to the soft wind, the distant rustle of grass, the faint life stirring nearby. When movement begins, it is unhurried. The blanket is folded carefully. The body stretches slowly, honoring its limits. Every motion feels familiar, practiced, calm. Survival here has become a rhythm, no longer something to worry about, but something to live. Morning air is cool and refreshing. The traveler takes a few slow breaths, filling the lungs completely, letting the chest rise and fall. This air carries the scent of dust, grass, and something faintly sweet from distant wildflowers. These small details are grounding. They remind the traveler of where they are and why awareness matters. Food is minimal again, but satisfying in its simplicity. A small portion eaten slowly lasts longer than a large meal eaten in haste. Water is measured with care. The traveler knows how far the next creek lies, how the land slopes, how the sun will move across the sky. The journey continues, one step at a time. The land changes subtly, grass giving way to firmer soil, small stones appearing more frequently. The traveler adjusts pace without thinking. Experience guides the body now more than conscious effort. As the sun rises, warmth spreads evenly, not harsh, not demanding. The traveler walks with the sun at their back, using the angle of light to judge direction. In the Wild West, navigation relies on simple, reliable signs: the sun's path, the shape of hills, the memory of stars. Occasionally, the traveler pauses not because of fatigue, but to observe a distant cloud formation, the way birds move across the sky. These signs offer quiet information. Weather may change later, wind may shift. The traveler stores this knowledge without worry. By midday, the land opens into a wide, empty stretch. No trees, no buildings, just open earth and sky. This vastness feels calming rather than lonely. The traveler understands now that solitude is not emptiness. It is space to breathe, to think slowly, to exist without pressure. A short rest is taken, sitting on the ground, leaning back, letting the body cool. The traveler watches clouds drift lazily, their shapes dissolving and reforming without effort. Time feels softer here, less defined. When movement resumes, it is lighter. The traveler hums quietly, not a song with words, just a low sound that matches the rhythm of walking. Sound carries differently in open spaces, and this gentle hum feels like company. As afternoon fades, the traveler spots signs of water, ahead greener plants, softer soil. The pace slows slightly, conserving energy. Reaching water is never rushed. When the creek finally appears, shallow and clear, the traveler kneels once more, grateful but careful. Hands are washed, face cooled, canteen filled. A moment is taken to simply sit and listen to the sound of water moving over stone. This sound is deeply soothing, a reminder that life continues steadily, without hurry. Evening approaches again, painting the sky in familiar colors. The traveler chooses a camp nearby but not too close to the creek. Ground is inspected. Shelter is arranged. Fire is prepared gently. As the fire warms, the traveler eats the evening meal slowly, watching shadows dance across the ground. The land feels safe, known, welcoming. The fear once associated with the Wild West has faded, replaced by respect and understanding. Night returns, as it always does, calm and predictable. Stars appear, steady and bright. The traveler lies back, hands folded, eyes drifting upward before finally closing. Sleep comes easily now, without effort. The body knows this rhythm. The mind trusts it. Survival is no longer something to think about, it is simply happening, naturally, quietly, step by step. And as the night deepens once more, the journey continues in dreams and breath, carried forward by the timeless, peaceful rhythm of the Wild West, where living slowly is the truest way to survive. The night settles even deeper now, as if the land itself has decided to rest completely. The stars remain fixed and calm, watching silently as the traveler sleeps, wrapped in stillness. There is no need to guard against the dark anymore. The dark here has become familiar, almost comforting, like a quiet room where nothing is expected. Breath moves in slow, steady cycles. The body sinks into the earth's gentle firmness, supported, grounded. In the Wild West, the ground becomes a trusted companion. It holds the warmth of the day just long enough to soften the chill of night, offering balance without effort. Somewhere nearby, an owl glides soundlessly through the air. Its presence is barely noticed, yet reassuring. Life continues around the traveler, unseen but calm, each creature following its own quiet rhythm. There is no competition here, only coexistence. Time passes unnoticed, flowing like a slow river in the dark. When dawn finally begins to form, it does so with great patience. The first light does not rush in. It seeps gently across the horizon, easing the night away rather than pushing it aside. The traveler wakes slowly, as if rising from deep water. For a moment, there is no sense of where or when, only warmth, breath, and stillness. Then awareness returns, softly. Another day has arrived, just like all the others, without demand or urgency. The traveler remains lying down for a while, watching the sky lighten. Clouds drift lazily, their edges glowing faintly. This moment of stillness is never skipped. It reminds the traveler that survival is not only about movement, but about presence. Eventually the body stirs, muscles stretch, joints loosen. There is no pain, only the gentle reminder of yesterday's miles. The traveler sits up, feeling balanced and steady. The world feels calm, predictable, safe in its simplicity. The remains of the fire are scattered once more. The campsite fades back into the land. Nothing is left behind except a memory. This habit, practiced every day, keeps the traveler light, unburdened by excess. Morning nourishment is quiet and unremarkable, yet deeply satisfying. A few bites. A few sips, enough. The traveler understands now that the body needs far less than the mind often believes. The journey resumes, not because there is a destination demanding arrival, but because movement itself is part of survival. Walking keeps the body warm. It keeps the mind clear. It keeps the traveler connected to the land. The sun rises higher, but its warmth is gentle today. A breeze moves across the plains, carrying dust and the faint scent of dry grass. The traveler adjusts clothing instinctively, covering skin, preserving moisture, conserving strength. As the hours pass, the land subtly shifts again. Low hills smooth out into flatter ground. The sky feels even larger here, stretching endlessly in every direction. The traveler does not feel small beneath it. Instead, there is a sense of belonging, as if this openness has made space just for them. Midday arrives quietly. The traveler pauses beneath a modest outcrop of stone, sitting in its shade. There is no need to sleep, only to rest. Thoughts drift lazily, unstructured, calm. Memories come and go without pulling attention. The mind is light. When the traveler stands again, movement feels effortless. Each step follows the last without conscious command. The body knows what to do. Survival has become instinct rather than strategy. In the distance, the faint outline of a fence appears, weathered and leaning. Signs of human passage linger in this land, but never overwhelm it. The traveler follows the fence for a time, appreciating its guidance, then lets it drift away again. As afternoon softens, clouds gather slowly, promising cooler air. The traveler welcomes the change, adjusting pace, watching the sky. Rain here is not feared, only respected. It brings relief, but also responsibility. A light shower passes briefly, just enough to darken the soil and freshen the air. The traveler stands still during the rain, letting it pass, feeling droplets cool the skin. No shelter is needed. The moment is gentle. Evening returns with familiar colors, painting the world in warm tones. The traveler chooses another place to rest, careful and practiced. The routine is soothing now, almost automatic. The fire is lit softly once more. The glow is small but comforting. The traveler eats slowly, listening to the quiet crackle, watching shadows stretch and fade. When night settles again, there is no sense of repetition, no boredom. Each night is the same, yet entirely different. The land never repeats itself exactly. Neither does the traveler. Lying back beneath the stars, the traveler feels deeply settled. There is nothing left to plan, nothing left to fear. Survival is no longer a question. It is an ongoing state, carried forward by calm decisions and gentle awareness. Sleep arrives without resistance, like a familiar path taken many times before. The breath slows. The body rests. The land remains. And so the journey continues, not toward an end, but within a steady, peaceful rhythm, one day flowing quietly into the next under the endless sky of the Wild West, where survival is simply the art of living slowly, listening carefully, and allowing rest to come when it is ready. The quiet deepens again, settling like a soft blanket over the plains. Nothing calls for attention. Nothing interrupts the calm. The traveler sleeps in harmony with the land, breath slow and even, as if matching the gentle pulse beneath the soil. The stars shift almost imperceptibly overhead. They have watched countless journeys like this, slow, careful lives moving across the Wild West without noise or spectacle. The land remembers them all, even when footprints fade by morning. In the early hours before dawn, the air cools slightly. The traveler turns once in sleep, instinctively drawing the blanket closer. Sleep here is deep and untroubled, shaped by routine and trust. When morning finally arrives, it does so quietly, as always. Light touches the horizon and spreads outward, waking colors one by one. The sky becomes pale, then warm. The land stretches awake. The traveler opens their eyes slowly. There is no rush to sit up. For a while, they simply lie still, watching the world return. A bird hops across the ground nearby. The breeze carries a faint whisper through dry grass. Everything feels steady, unchanged, reliable. Rising gently, the traveler feels grounded, balanced. The body has learned this rhythm well. Muscles move without complaint. Joints bend easily. Survival has softened into habit. The camp disappears again with practiced care. Ash scattered. Stones replaced. Nothing left behind to mark the night's rest. The land remains whole, untouched. Morning food is modest, but satisfying. Each bite is slow, deliberate. The traveler drinks a few careful sips of water, then seals the canteen again. There is no anxiety about supply. Experience has taught that calm use lasts longer than worry. The journey resumes, following a subtle curve in the land. The traveler does not consult maps or markers. The land itself guides the way, slopes, shadows, wind direction. Every step feels familiar, even when the place itself is new. As the sun climbs, the warmth spreads evenly. The traveler adjusts pace naturally, slowing when needed, moving when the body feels ready. There is no forcing, no struggle. Survival here is cooperation between body and environment. Mid-morning passes without incident. The traveler notices animal tracks crossing the path, small, light prints that tell of quiet lives moving through the same space. These signs bring comfort rather than concern. They mean balance exists here. By midday, the sky grows wide and pale. The traveler rests again, seated on the ground, back against a low rise. Eyes half closed, not sleeping, just drifting. Thoughts come and go without shape, like clouds dissolving in heat. When movement begins again, it is almost effortless. Feet find their place without thought. The body carries itself forward, guided by experience rather than intention. In the distance, a line of trees appears, thin but promising. The traveler moves toward them slowly, conserving energy. Shade is approached with patience, not urgency. When the trees are reached, their shadow feels cool and welcoming. The traveler pauses, letting the temperature settle, letting the mind quiet further. The leaves move gently overhead, filtering sunlight into soft patterns. A small stream runs nearby, barely more than a whisper over stone. The traveler kneels, refills the canteen, washes dust from hands. The water is cool and clear, a simple gift accepted with care. As afternoon fades, the traveler leaves the shade and continues on, refreshed but unhurried. The land opens again, familiar and calm. Evening arrives as it always does, painting the sky in deepening color. The traveler prepares camp once more, choosing ground with the same quiet attention as every night before. The fire glows gently, food warms slowly. The traveler eats, listening to the soft crackle, watching the last light fade from the sky. When darkness settles fully, stars return to their places. The traveler lies back, hands resting comfortably, breath steady. There is no sense of isolation here. The land feels present, watchful, kind in its own silent way. Sleep comes smoothly, without thought or effort. Another day has passed safely, quietly, without drama. And the journey continues, not marked by milestones or endings, but by this steady, peaceful cycle, walking, resting, breathing beneath the endless sky of the Wild West, where survival is simply the art of moving gently through time, and allowing each quiet moment to carry you closer to rest. The night carries on, unbroken and patient, as though time itself has slowed to match the traveler's breathing. The land does not demand attention. It simply exists, wide and steady, allowing rest to settle deeply into bone and thought alike. Somewhere far away, the wind shifts direction. It moves across the plains like a slow tide, brushing against grass, smoothing the earth, carrying away the warmth of the day. The traveler remains asleep, undisturbed, wrapped in the quiet confidence that comes from many nights passed safely. Hours drift by unnoticed. The stars trace their silent arcs across the sky, ancient and dependable. They have guided countless travelers before, and they continue to do so without expectation or reward. Beneath them, the land holds its shape, unchanged, familiar. Before dawn, the air cools just enough to invite deeper stillness. The traveler's breath slows further, sinking into a rhythm so gentle, it feels as though the body and the land are breathing together. Morning arrives softly once again. Light appears not as a sudden presence, but as a gradual easing of darkness. The sky lightens in layers, deep blue fading into pale gray, then into the warm promise of day. The traveler wakes naturally, eyes opening without effort. There is no rush to move. For a while, the traveler simply lies there, feeling the firmness of the ground, the coolness of the air, the quiet strength of the morning. This moment between sleep and waking is treasured. It asks for nothing. Eventually, the traveler sits up slowly, stretching with care. The body responds easily, familiar with this daily ritual. There is no stiffness that surprises, no pain that interrupts. Survival has shaped the body gently, not harshly. The camp is dismantled again, as it always is. Each motion is calm, efficient, almost meditative. Ash scattered thin, ground smoothed. The place returns to its natural state, as if the night's rest was only imagined. A small morning meal is eaten without distraction. Each bite is deliberate, each sip measured. The traveler feels no lack. What is needed is present, and that is enough. The journey resumes, following the subtle guidance of the land. The sun rises behind the traveler now, warming the back, casting long shadows ahead. These shadows stretch and move slowly, marking time without urgency. The plains seem endless, yet comforting in their openness. The traveler walks at a steady pace, neither pushing nor hesitating. The rhythm of steps becomes soothing, almost hypnotic. Left, right. Breath in. Breath out. The world narrows to this simple pattern. As the hours pass, the traveler notices how little effort it takes now to remain aware. The eyes scan gently. The ears listen without strain. The body responds instinctively to changes in terrain. Survival has become quiet knowledge rather than constant decision. By midday, the heat rises again, but it is met with understanding rather than resistance. The traveler rests in a shallow dip in the land, where the breeze lingers slightly longer. Sitting still, eyes half closed, the traveler lets the body cool naturally. Thoughts drift lazily, unanchored. There is no planning far ahead, no replaying of the past. The mind rests just as the body does, floating lightly in the present moment. When movement begins again, it feels almost effortless. The traveler stands, adjusts clothing, and continues on. The land unfolds gently ahead, offering no obstacles, only distance. In the far distance, dark shapes suggest low hills or perhaps a distant ridge. The traveler does not aim to reach them today. There is no need. The journey is measured not by landmarks but by the steady continuation of calm. Afternoon softens slowly. The light becomes warmer, shadows longer. The traveler chooses a place to rest for the night with the same practiced care, high enough to avoid cold air, open enough to see clearly, sheltered just enough to feel secure. The fire is built small and low. Its glow is comforting rather than bright. Food warms quietly. The traveler eats slowly, savoring the warmth more than the taste. As the sky darkens, stars appear one by one, familiar and steady. The traveler lies back once more, gazing upward briefly before letting eyes close. The body settles easily, already accustomed to the ground's support. Sleep arrives without effort, like a gentle wave rolling in and carrying the traveler with it. There is no resistance, no lingering thought. Just rest. And so the cycle continues, day flowing into night, night easing into day, each moment unremarkable, yet deeply peaceful. In the Wild West, survival is no longer a challenge to overcome. It is simply the quiet art of listening, resting, and moving forward at the same unhurried pace as the land itself, carrying you gently onward, deeper into sleep. The stillness deepens again, settling so completely that it feels as though the world has paused just to breathe. The traveler sleeps without movement, wrapped in the familiar calm of another safe night. The Wild West does not change suddenly. It unfolds slowly, and the night passes the same way, quiet, patient, undemanding. The fire has long since faded, leaving only cool ash and the faint memory of warmth. Above, the stars seem brighter now, sharper against the dark sky. They move so slowly that their motion is barely noticeable, yet they are never still. Like the traveler, they continue onward without haste. Somewhere in the distance, an animal moves through the grass. The sound is soft, brief, and unthreatening. Life passes nearby, aware but uninterested. The land has accepted the traveler as part of its rhythm. Time slips by unnoticed. Hours blend together, smooth and indistinct. Sleep remains deep and uninterrupted, the kind of rest that settles into muscles and bones, easing away fatigue built over long days of steady walking. Gradually, the night loosens its hold. The air shifts. The cold softens. Dawn approaches once more, not as an interruption, but as a gentle transition. The sky lightens slowly, layer by layer, as though painted with care. The traveler wakes before fully opening their eyes, sensing the change rather than seeing it. Breath deepens. Awareness returns softly. For a moment, there is no movement, only listening, feeling the ground, sensing the quiet world reawakening. When the eyes finally open, the view is familiar and reassuring. The plains stretch outward, unchanged. The sky holds pale light. The land remains calm. Another day has arrived, and with it the same steady rhythm. The traveler sits up slowly, stretching arms and legs with gentle care. The body responds easily now, shaped by routine and patience. There is no rush to stand. The moment is allowed to unfold fully. Camp is taken down piece by piece. Just as always. Every action is deliberate, smooth, practiced. Nothing is left behind. The land keeps its quiet dignity, unmarked by passage. Breakfast is small and simple, eaten slowly. Each bite is appreciated. Hunger exists, but it does not rule. The traveler drinks sparingly, sealing the canteen with confidence. There is enough. The journey resumes, guided by light, wind, and memory. The sun rises at a comfortable angle, warming the air without pressing down. Shadows stretch gently across the ground, shifting as the traveler moves. Walking feels natural now, almost effortless. The feet know where to land. The body adjusts automatically to changes in terrain. Survival no longer feels like a task, it feels like a state of being. The land offers subtle variations as the hours pass. A change in soil texture, a cluster of stones, a faint trail left by animals. These details are noticed without judgment, without concern. They simply exist. Midday arrives quietly. The traveler rests again, seated in open shade cast by a low rise. The breeze moves softly here, cooling the skin. Eyes close briefly, not to sleep, but to rest the mind. Thoughts drift slowly, untethered. There is no destination pulling at the future, no memory tugging from the past. Only the present moment, wide and calm. When movement begins again, it is unforced. The traveler stands, stretches once more, and continues on. The sky seems even larger now, the land even more open. There is comfort in this openness, a sense of belonging. As afternoon fades, the light softens into warm tones. The traveler begins to consider rest, not from exhaustion, but from habit. Survival here is shaped by routine, not reaction. A suitable place is chosen again, quiet, open, gently sheltered. Camp is made without thought, hands moving as if guided by memory alone. The fire glows softly, never bright, never demanding. The evening meal warms slowly. The traveler eats in silence, listening to the land settle for the night. The air cools, shadows deepen, the world grows still. When darkness returns fully, the stars reappear, constant and familiar. The traveler lies back, breathing evenly, eyes closing without effort. There is no tension left in the body, no unfinished thought in the mind. Sleep arrives like a gentle descent, carrying the traveler downward into rest. Another day has passed, quietly and completely. And so the journey continues, not marked by danger or triumph, but by the steady, peaceful flow of days and nights. In the Wild West, survival has become something soft and simple, a quiet partnership with the land, a rhythm of walking and resting, breathing and listening, until the world itself seems to cradle you gently, and sleep deepens once more. The quiet holds steady, as if nothing in the world feels the need to move quickly. The traveler rests deeply now, sleep flowing without edges or interruption. The land remains watchful but kind, offering no challenges, only space. The stars continue their slow drift, tracing paths so old they feel permanent. They shine without effort, just as the traveler now lives without strain. The Wild West, in this softened version of itself, feels less like a place to conquer and more like a place to belong. The night air cools gradually, settling gently over the plains. The traveler turns once, instinctively, adjusting to the temperature without waking fully. The body has learned how to care for itself here, even in sleep. Hours pass unnoticed. Time feels wide and forgiving. There is no sense of waiting for morning, no impatience. Night is allowed to be night. Eventually, the first signs of dawn appear again, subtle and pale. The darkness thins, releasing the land back into color and shape. The horizon brightens slowly, like a thought forming without words. The traveler wakes gently, awareness returning in layers. Breath deepens. Muscles respond softly. There is no need to rise immediately. The moment is allowed to exist just as it is. When the traveler finally sits up, the world feels familiar and calm. The ground is cool, the air is clean. The silence is complete but never empty. A bird stirs nearby. Somewhere far off, the wind shifts again. The camp is dismantled once more with quiet respect. Every movement feels smooth, practiced, almost automatic. Nothing is rushed. Nothing is forgotten. The land remains untouched, just as it was found. A small breakfast is eaten slowly, more for routine than hunger. The traveler drinks carefully, confident in the rhythm of water and rest. There is no fear of running out, only awareness of balance. The journey resumes, carried forward by steady steps and measured breath. The sun rises behind the traveler, warming the back, lighting the path ahead without glare. Shadows stretch long and thin across the ground, moving lazily as the day unfolds. Walking has become effortless now. The body knows its limits. The mind knows when to quiet itself. Survival is no longer something to manage, it is simply happening. The land continues to change in subtle ways. The grass thins, then thickens again. Stones appear, then disappear. Small rises and dips guide the path gently, never sharply. The traveler adapts without thought. Midday comes and goes without ceremony. A short rest is taken where the breeze lingers. The traveler sits quietly, eyes half closed, letting the warmth ease into the body. Thoughts drift, slow and unstructured, like clouds dissolving in the sky. When the traveler stands again, there is no heaviness, no resistance. The journey continues naturally, without destination or demand. Afternoon light softens, turning the land golden. The traveler notices how familiar this light feels now, how predictable and comforting its shift has become. Evening approaches not as an ending, but as part of the same continuous flow. Another camp is chosen with calm precision. Another small fire is lit, low and gentle. Food warms slowly. The traveler eats without distraction, listening to the quiet crackle, watching shadows move and fade. As darkness settles once more, the stars return to their places. The sky feels endless yet close. The traveler lies back, hands resting easily, breath already slowing. There is nothing left to decide, nothing left to prepare. The land feels safe because it has been understood, not controlled. Sleep arrives again, deep and steady, carrying the traveler gently downward. The cycle continues without effort, walking, resting, breathing each moment, blending into the next. And in this unbroken rhythm of the Wild West, survival becomes something soft and almost invisible. It is simply the quiet art of paying attention, moving gently, and allowing the land and the body to share the same slow, peaceful pace, drifting together into rest, again and again. The calm remains unshaken, stretching gently through the night like a long, slow breath. Nothing presses in. Nothing pulls away. The traveler sleeps as though held by the land itself, supported without effort, without thought. The air moves softly across the plains, carrying the faint scent of dust and grass. It passes over the traveler without disturbance, as if aware that rest is sacred here. The stars remain steady, ancient witnesses to countless quiet journeys just like this one. Time continues its slow unfolding. There is no urgency hidden in the dark, no tension waiting for morning. Night exists fully, completely, allowed to be what it is. As the sky begins to lighten once more, the transition feels familiar, almost expected. Dawn does not interrupt sleep, it gently invites waking. The darkness fades gradually, releasing the shapes of the land back into view. The traveler stirs slightly, breath deepening, awareness returning without effort. Eyes open slowly, adjusting to the soft light. The plains stretch out as they always do, wide, open, unchanged. This consistency brings comfort. It means safety. It means understanding. The traveler remains still for a while, simply observing. The quiet hum of life returning. A bird moving through grass. The wind adjusting its course. These small signs are enough. They say everything is as it should be. Rising happens slowly. The body responds with ease, familiar with the pattern of another day beginning. There is no stiffness that surprises, no fatigue that lingers. Routine has smoothed the edges of effort. The camp is taken apart once again, gently and thoroughly. Each motion feels like a practiced ritual, calming in its repetition. Nothing is left behind. The land resumes its uninterrupted state. A modest breakfast follows, simple, sufficient, unremarkable. The traveler eats slowly, aware of each movement, each taste. Water is measured carefully, but without worry. Balance has replaced fear. The journey continues, guided by light and intuition. The sun rises to a comfortable height, warming the air without intensity. Shadows stretch across the ground, moving gradually as the traveler walks. Footsteps fall into a steady rhythm. Breath matches pace. The mind settles into the present, no longer wandering ahead or behind. Survival here has become effortless attention. The land offers subtle changes again, a slight incline. Firmer ground, a faint animal trail crossing the path. None of it demands reaction. All of it is simply noticed, then allowed to pass. By midday, the traveler pauses once more, finding a place where the breeze lingers. Sitting quietly, the traveler rests without sleeping, letting warmth and stillness settle into the body. Thoughts drift freely, without shape or direction. When movement resumes, it feels natural, almost automatic. The body knows when to go on. The land seems to guide the way without words. Afternoon light softens gradually, turning everything a gentle gold. The traveler begins to think of rest not because of exhaustion, but because the day has reached that familiar point. A cycle continues as it always does. A place for the night is chosen carefully, but without strain. Camp is made smoothly. The fire glows low and calm. Food warms slowly. The traveler eats quietly, listening to the land settle around them. As darkness returns, the stars appear once more, steady and familiar. The traveler lies back, breathing evenly, the body already preparing for rest. There is no sense of repetition as boredom. Each day feels complete, whole, gentle. The sameness is soothing, not dull. It means safety. It means survival has become a quiet companion rather than a constant challenge. Sleep arrives again, deep and unforced. The body relaxes fully. The mind releases its last thoughts. And so the journey continues day into night, night into day without struggle, without urgency. In the Wild West, survival is no longer about endurance. It is about harmony. About moving gently, resting fully, and allowing the vast, patient land to carry you forward. Slowly and peacefully, deeper into rest. The night stretches onward, quiet and patient, carrying the traveler deeper into rest. Sleep flows without edges, without interruption, like a soft stream winding slowly through the plains. The land holds its calm, steady, vast and unchanging beneath the stars. The wind shifts gently, barely noticeable, brushing over grass and stone. The traveler does not stir, wrapped in the familiarity of the ground and the predictable rhythm of the night. Life moves around them, small, quiet, unnoticed, but the presence of the world beyond is comforting rather than threatening. Time passes in the softest way. Hours blur together. The stars trace their silent paths, ancient and steady. They do not demand attention, nor do they judge. The traveler rests, fully surrendered to the stillness, muscles and mind relaxed. Before dawn, the air grows cooler, carrying the faint scent of earth and dew. The traveler stirs slightly, instinctively adjusting the blanket. Sleep remains deep, but awareness begins to return slowly, carried on the gentle breeze. When the first pale light of morning spreads across the horizon, it is gradual, gentle, welcoming. Shadows lengthen and stretch lazily, highlighting every subtle curve of the land. The traveler's eyes open slowly, taking in the quiet world around them. There is no hurry, no rush to rise. The moment itself is sufficient. The plains stretch wide and calm. The air is cool, clean, filled with the faint murmur of distant life. A bird calls softly, a breeze brushes past. The world has awakened, and yet it moves with the same slow patience that the traveler has come to mirror. Rising occurs with deliberate calm. Muscles stretch, joints loosen, and every movement feels familiar, practiced, almost meditative. Survival has become not a challenge but a rhythm, effortless and steady. Camp is dismantled with quiet care. Ash is scattered, stones replaced, nothing left behind. The land regains its unbroken surface, untouched and whole. Breakfast is modest, eaten slowly, each bite is mindful. Water is sipped carefully, then the canteen is sealed. Nothing is wasted. The traveler moves on without urgency, feet and body accustomed to the rhythm of walking, resting, and observing. The sun climbs higher, warming the plains gently. Shadows shift slowly across the ground. The traveler's pace is calm and steady, each step flowing naturally from the last. The mind remains present, unhurried, without worry or distraction. Midday comes and passes in quiet ease. A short rest is taken in the shade of a low rise. The traveler closes their eyes, letting the warmth sink into the body. Thoughts drift freely, untethered, without urgency. Time feels expansive and soft. When movement resumes, it feels effortless. The traveler continues, guided by instinct, observation, and the subtle cues of the land. Each step is deliberate, calm, steady. The Wild West is no longer a place of danger. It has become a companion. Afternoon light softens. The land glows in warm, muted gold. The traveler begins to consider camp for the evening. Another place is chosen with practiced care, open enough to see, sheltered enough to rest. The fire glows gently. Food warms slowly. The traveler eats quietly, listening to the soft crackle, feeling the warmth against the cool air. Shadows stretch and shift as the sun dips, and the sky slowly deepens into twilight. When night returns, the stars emerge steadily. The traveler lies back, hands resting, breath slow and even. There is nothing left to plan, nothing left to anticipate. The world feels steady and safe. Sleep returns smoothly, carrying the traveler gently into rest. The rhythm continues day, flowing into night, night into day, without struggle, without hurry. Survival in this Wild West is no longer a challenge. It is a quiet, ongoing partnership with the land, a gentle art of observing, walking, resting, and allowing the world itself to cradle you in calm, deep, endless sleep. The night remains vast and unhurried, stretching endlessly over the plains. The traveler lies still, fully surrendered to the gentle rhythm of sleep, as if the land itself is cradling them. The air is cool and soft, brushing over skin and grass alike, carrying the faint scent of earth and distant blooms. Somewhere far off, a coyote's call drifts across the land, long and low, fading into silence. The sound is neither alarming nor urgent. It blends into the quiet tapestry of the night. Every creature here moves with the same unspoken patience that the traveler has learned to carry, each step measured, each breath calm. Time slips by unnoticed. Hours blend seamlessly. The stars shift ever so slightly, tracing their ancient arcs across the sky. Their light is steady, reliable, unchanging. The traveler's breath deepens, fully synchronized with the slow, natural rhythm of the night. Before dawn, a gentle coolness settles across the plains. The traveler stirs slightly, instinctively adjusting the blanket, but remains in a state of deep rest. The land holds its calm. The wind is soft, carrying whispers of distant hills, the rustle of grass, and the faint murmur of unseen life. Dawn arrives gradually, washing the horizon in pale gold and soft lavender. Shadows stretch and melt into the morning light. The traveler awakens slowly, eyes opening to the familiar, expansive view. There is no urgency, no need to rise immediately. The morning itself is enough. The traveler sits, taking in the calm expanse. The plains are quiet and steady, the air clean and cool. A bird hops near, calling once, then settling again. Every detail is noticed and appreciated. Survival here is not about fear, it is about presence, awareness, and gentle attention to what is real. Rising is deliberate and unhurried. Muscles stretch, joints ease, the body remembering the rhythm of walking and resting. The traveler's steps feel natural, effortless, as if the land itself guides each movement. The camp is dismantled with quiet care. Ash is scattered. Stones return to their places, the ground left smooth. Breakfast is small, eaten slowly, each bite deliberate. Water is sipped with care, conserving supply while satisfying thirst. The traveler moves onward, feet steady, mind calm. The sun rises gradually behind, warming the plains softly, not harshly. Walking continues in a steady rhythm. The body adjusts naturally to subtle changes in terrain. The soil firm here, soft there, a gentle incline, a shallow dip. The traveler's senses remain alert but calm, observing the land with quiet understanding. Midday arrives. The traveler pauses in the shade of a lone rise, letting the warmth of the sun settle gently over muscles. Eyes close briefly, thoughts drifting like clouds. Time feels vast, slow, and forgiving. There is no rush, no need to measure distance or pace. Movement resumes with effortless grace. Each step flows naturally into the next. The horizon stretches endlessly ahead, wide and open. The land feels familiar, almost like a companion. Survival is not a struggle here. It is a rhythm, a pattern of moving, resting, breathing, and noticing. Afternoon light softens, and the traveler selects a safe, quiet place for camp. Shelter is found, fire prepared with care, low and warm. The evening meal cooks slowly, filling the air with gentle scent. The traveler eats in silence, listening to the soft crackle of fire, watching shadows grow long. Night falls again. The stars reappear, countless and steady. The traveler lies back, breathing slow and deep. The body relaxes fully. The mind empties of worry. Sleep arrives naturally, enveloping the traveler in deep, steady calm. And so the rhythm continues, day blending into night, night into day. Survival in this vast, patient land has become a quiet art, moving gently, resting fully, and allowing the Wild West itself to cradle you, step by step, breath by breath, into endless, peaceful sleep. The night deepens once more, vast and patient, stretching endlessly over the plains. The traveler lies still, wrapped in the quiet comfort of a well-earned rest. The air is soft, carrying the faint scent of earth and the whisper of distant grasses swaying under the breeze. Every sound is subtle, the rustle of leaves, the faint cry of a bird, the soft hum of wind over the earth. Each one blends into the gentle rhythm of the night. Sleep comes easily, unbroken, deep enough to sink into the muscles and settle into the bones. The body and mind are in harmony with the land, moving together in a silent, steady rhythm. Time stretches almost imperceptibly. The stars trace their slow, familiar paths overhead, constant and unwavering. As hours pass, the coolness of the night shifts slightly, softening into a promise of morning. The traveler stirs gently, adjusting the blanket but remains still. Awareness returns in layers, slow and gradual, like dawn spilling across the horizon. The first hints of light arrive, pale and delicate, washing over the plains in gentle shades of gold and lavender. Shadows stretch and blend, the contours of the land revealing themselves with quiet patience. The traveler opens their eyes, taking in the calm expanse. There is no hurry to rise, no pressing need, only the soft, patient arrival of another day. For a long moment, the traveler simply sits, breathing deeply, feeling the cool earth beneath and the soft air around. A bird calls in the distance, a fleeting note that carries across the plains. Life is quiet but present. The land is alive, but it does not demand anything from the traveler. Survival here is not a struggle, it is gentle observation, quiet awareness, measured movement, and careful attention to each small detail of the world. Rising is deliberate, practiced, and unhurried. Muscles stretch, joints ease, and the body aligns naturally with the familiar rhythm of walking. The camp is dismantled with care, as it always is. Ash scattered, stones returned. Blankets folded, each action performed with the same quiet attentiveness that the land requires. Breakfast is minimal but deliberate. A few small bites, sipped water, slow and careful. The traveler moves onward, steady and calm, feet finding the rhythm of the ground beneath them without conscious thought. The sun rises behind, warming the plains gently, casting long, soft shadows that stretch ahead. Walking continues in this calm, steady rhythm. The terrain shifts subtly, firm soil here, soft patches of grass there, small rises and dips that guide steps almost without notice. Each movement is effortless, each breath synchronized with the land itself. Survival is no longer a constant decision. It is instinct, harmony, awareness made automatic by experience. Midday brings a pause. The traveler rests in the shade of a low hill, letting warmth settle into the muscles. Eyes closed, thoughts drift like clouds, unanchored and free. Time stretches like the horizon itself, endless, patient, forgiving. When movement resumes, it is smooth, effortless, natural. Each step flows into the next. The horizon remains wide, the plains unbroken. The land is a silent companion, steady and constant. The traveler moves not with urgency, but with awareness, attuned to the subtleties of the terrain, the whisper of wind, the gentle signs of life around. Afternoon softens into evening. The traveler finds another safe, quiet place to rest for the night. Camp is set carefully, fire lit low and warm, meal prepared slowly, eaten without hurry. Shadows grow long as the sun sinks, painting the world in deepening tones of gold and purple. Night returns fully. Stars scatter across the sky, brilliant and unwavering. The traveler lies back, body relaxed, breath even, mind empty. Sleep arrives as it always does, deep, steady, and untroubled. And so the rhythm continues endlessly, day giving way to night, night flowing into day. Survival in the Wild West has become a quiet art, not of struggle, but of harmony, moving gently, resting fully, observing quietly, and allowing the land, in its vast, patient way, to cradle the traveler into an unbroken, peaceful sleep. The night stretches quietly, endless and patient, as the traveler rests fully. The stars wheel slowly overhead, steady and eternal, watching over the land with their calm light. The plains are still, yet alive with the soft, hidden motions of night grasses bending, insects moving, distant animals stirring. Each sound blends into the gentle rhythm of the world, a lullaby that carries the traveler deeper into sleep. The air is cool and soft, moving like a slow tide across the plains. It brushes against skin, rustles the blankets, and carries the faint scent of earth and distant hills. Sleep is deep now, unbroken, soothing, settling into every muscle, every bone. The body, the mind, and the land are all in harmony. Hours pass unnoticed. The moon drifts slowly across the sky, faintly illuminating the shapes of the land. Shadows lengthen and shift subtly as the night ages. The traveler remains still, breathing evenly, wrapped in calm awareness even while unconscious. The Wild West, in its vastness, feels protective and timeless. Before dawn, the air changes slightly. A softness moves through the plains, a quiet signal that the night is easing away. The traveler stirs gently, instinctively adjusting the blanket, yet sleep holds still, steady, deep. When the first light appears, it comes gradually, washing the horizon in pale gold and muted lavender. Shadows stretch long, fading slowly, revealing the gentle contours of the earth. The traveler opens their eyes, calm and unhurried. The plains remain vast and reassuring, the air cool, the land steady. There is no need to rush. The morning itself is enough. The traveler sits for a long moment, observing. A bird hops across the grass nearby, calling once before settling again. The wind moves softly through the plains. Life stirs quietly all around. Survival here is not a test. It is awareness, measured attention, gentle movement, and quiet respect for the land. Rising is deliberate and practiced. Muscles stretch, joints ease, the body aligning naturally with the familiar rhythm of walking. Camp is dismantled with care. Ash scattered, stones returned, blankets folded neatly. Nothing is left behind. The land resumes its unbroken, quiet state. Breakfast is simple and deliberate. Small bites, water sipped slowly, each motion intentional. The traveler moves onward, steps steady and calm. The sun climbs gently, warming the plains without harshness, casting long, soft shadows that stretch ahead like guides. Walking continues in this effortless rhythm. The terrain shifts subtly, soft grass, firm soil, gentle rises and dips. The traveler's steps are natural, unforced. Breath matches pace. Survival has become instinctive, a quiet partnership between body and land, mind and earth. Midday brings a pause. The traveler rests in the shade of a low hill, letting warmth settle. Eyes close briefly, thoughts drifting freely, unstructured. Time feels vast and soft, like the horizon itself, patient, forgiving, expansive. When movement resumes, it is smooth and natural. The horizon remains wide, the plains unbroken. The traveler moves without rush, guided by subtle signs. A shift in the wind, the path of the sun, distant animal tracks. Awareness is quiet, steady, and unhurried. Evening arrives slowly. The traveler chooses another place to rest. Camp is set with practiced care. A small fire glows low and warm. Food warms slowly, eaten quietly. Shadows stretch and fade as the sun dips, painting the land in muted golds and purples. Night returns fully. Stars emerge, countless and steady. The traveler lies back, body relaxed, breath even, mind empty. Sleep arrives smoothly, deeply, carrying the traveler into rest without resistance. And so the cycle continues, day flowing into night, night into day. Survival in the Wild West is no longer a matter of struggle. It is a quiet rhythm, a gentle partnership with the land, moving slowly, resting fully, observing carefully, and allowing the vast, patient world to cradle the traveler into deep, unbroken sleep. As the night settles one final time, deep and endless, the traveler lies beneath the stars, completely at peace. The plains stretch wide and silent, the wind whispering softly over grass and stone, carrying the faint, reassuring scent of earth and distant hills. The body rests fully. The mind drifts free of worry. Every breath, every heartbeat aligns naturally with the rhythm of the land. In this vast, patient Wild West, survival has ceased to be a struggle. It is no longer about fear, hunger, or danger. It has become a quiet art, a partnership with the land itself, a gentle understanding of rhythm, patience, and presence. Each day of walking, each night of rest, each meal and pause has woven a steady, peaceful cycle, teaching endurance not through effort, but through harmony. The traveler closes their eyes one last time, letting the vastness of the plains and the steady light of the stars carry them into rest. The world feels safe, familiar, eternal. The Wild West continues, patient and unchanging, embracing all who move gently within it. And in that quiet, endless rhythm, survival is complete. It is not heroic or loud, but simple, profound, and lasting. Living slowly, breathing deeply, resting fully, and allowing the land-wide, patient, and eternal to cradle you peacefully into the deep, untroubled sleep of the Wild West. The journey ends not with an arrival, but with understanding. The traveler has learned that survival is not about conquering the land, but about moving with it, day by day, night by night, in perfect, quiet harmony. And so, beneath the endless sky, the traveler sleeps. The Wild West continues to stretch beyond sight, timeless, calm, and infinite, carrying the traveler gently through the rhythm of days and nights forever. The end.